Hey everyone, welcome back to Release Notes. My name is Logan Kilpatrick. I'm on the Google DeepMind team. Today we're talking about Nano Banana Pro. We're here in Mountain View with Robin, Yelin, Abhishek, Sherry, folks from the Nano Banana team, the Gemini image team. I don't know what our internal code name is for the team because there's 50 different names. But yeah, the sort of high level news is we launched the Nano Banana Pro model built on top of Gemini 3 Pro, which has been super exciting. Obviously, folks loved the original Nano Banana model. You've got the swag, which everyone pings me on Twitter and is like, how do I get the swag? I'm like, you can't get it. Exclusive, hard to come by. But Robin, maybe do you want to give us the sort of like high level for folks who maybe like miss the context of this model launch, and then we'll dive in and actually look at a bunch of demos and examples.
I think so. Nano Banana Pro is particularly amazing at tasks like text rendering, infographics, actually like generating structured content. I think like we have plenty of good examples where we can do tool call and actually like generate content while doing a search on the internet. And yeah, on visual reasoning also it's super cool. Like we can do multi-turn generation. You can do edits where you take multiple people in and blend this into an image. And yeah, we're excited to showcase some examples today live of the model.
I'm excited too. I want to make sure we also talk about this text rendering part, because when we did an episode about Nano Banana 1, or the original Nano Banana model, and Kaushik and others were talking about how sort of like text rendering is actually like one of the main things from like an overall image quality, a model quality perspective that like we can use to benchmark the model. So I'm curious, like I don't know if we have like a public benchmark that we put out or that there's something we track, but I'd be interested here. But Abhishek, do you want to show us some examples to sort of kickstart how this model is better? I think is the top level question than the original Nano Banana.
Yeah, so we can dive into multiple examples. Like let's start with one common example which people have been trying, and let me compare against Nano Banana, a side-by-side comparison. Let me just, so people have been trying this wine glass example where you want the wine glass to be full. It's a difficult example because as you can imagine, like most of the wine glasses, like the pictures which people take or the pictures which are online, like rarely you see like full wine glass, like because it's served with something different. And also like the time, like most of the time clock images, like people see like always like 10:10, that's the standard set time which is there in the clock. And so whenever you ask these image generative models to come to show this wine glass or the clock example, it always either shows a wine glass which is not full, or a clock which is like not showing the time which you want. It's either 10:10 or some standard time, which is mainly a data issue because that's what exists mainly in the internet. But to a surprise, like it's not like something we optimized our model for. We trained our model, and then we started seeing that people were actually trying out this prompt, and it works like surprisingly well. You can see in this, like even on my first try, like
Can you click in on these so we can see them in full screen?
yeah,
Try to make sure it's really full.
yeah.
It looks full.
Yeah, it's actually very full. You can see the time on the clock. It's also like perfectly depicting 5:30. Whereas in the right hand side, if you see like the Nano Banana output, which is it's not showing the wine glass which is full. It's also not showing the clock which is like accurate. So this is like some example of like better world understanding, I would say, just because it's trained on Gemini 3, which is a much better multimodal understanding. That really helps us for image generation, whereas all this better world knowledge comes up to this model. So this is one particular example.
For the clock one, when we were pressure testing our model, not only we can generate the clock with the targeting time, but we can also editing that. So it's I think with this joint like text to image and word knowledge understanding, and then also bring that knowledge into editing the target image, that's really cool. We have never seen that high successful rate for Nano Banana.
Yeah, that's super interesting. I wonder, I've been seeing a bunch of these like new practical use cases enabled by the original Nano Banana model and VO coming together. And I feel like with like even more high fidelity editing, it'll be interesting to see like how many more new use cases come up with that. But Abhishek, we have another example up.
Yeah, so I just took an example image, like I asked the model to show all the consonants in yellow, all the vowels in red, and you can see like it perfectly like generates this image where all the vowels are like described in red, all the consonants in yellow. I can keep like adding, and it's kind of suggesting that the model is actually able to reason. Like it's not in like an easy prompt. You have to really dive into each character.
Yeah, and I think the fine-grained capacity of like following the text prompt and the image content, it's both showcased on this example and also on the wine glass example, where it doesn't output just a generic image, but really reason about like what's the specific user input and trying to match exactly like the full wine glass, for example, instead of like just outputting an average wine glass.
Yeah, I actually have before we look at another demo, I have a broad question, which is, and Elin, maybe you can answer this one. How much of the sort of like capabilities that we're seeing here are just like coming out of the box because 3.0 Pro is a super smart model versus like, is it just that like that gives you all a better baseline and then it's just like much easier to hill climb on stuff? Or is it like, actually it's, you know, some of these things were free versus some of them you really had to go deep on, or actually some of them it was harder because 3.0 Pro has its own biases or trying to do things? Like I'm curious.
Yeah, I think it's both. I would say, like, first of all, the image model is trained based on the Gemini 3.0 model. As Abhishek said, it brings a lot stronger word knowledge and like multimodal understanding capabilities. We also put a lot of work into preparing the data, and we have a much larger data set, data collection that we use to train this Pro model, and like have much better synthetic captions that we generated for the images, and I believe like that was an important part of like bringing a lot of the capabilities, such as you know, like word knowledge and like description of the clock, for example, and also like a full wine glass, and also maybe some of the infographic capabilities that we're also really proud about.
Yeah, this story of the fusion between image understanding and like how, as we continue to push the frontier from an image understanding standpoint, it actually translates back to the image generation, I think is really interesting, and you sort of get this unique flywheel. One of the use cases that I think this is independent of image generation that we have a ton of customers that I think are looking into this is around robotics, and like if you can get high fidelity sort of synthetic captions of like the spatial world, it potentially is one of the unlocks for robotics, which is a sidebar, but also really interesting.
The other side is the generation they help with the understanding. Because right now we can see the visual reasoning of our model. They can do segmentation, they can do bounding box selection, and also can do a little bit planning of robotics. We actually have robotics experts testing our models. So it's accurate to see the mixture of all the experts coming together. So first pressure testing our model and then figure out a way if we can further improve the model. That's really cool about like working at Google with all the experts.
Yeah, so want to add, because like we use Gemini itself it's leveraging its multimodal understanding ability to generate almost all the captions we have. So right now, like we're also having a much closer collaboration between the generation team and also like the understanding work stream, so that like we can really have, like, as you said, a flywheel about what our needs are and like what feedback we have and like how that can be used to improve multimodal understanding in Gemini. So.
Yeah, we've had a long thread waiting to get JB on the podcast and a few of the other folks. So he's on our list of folks to talk about.
And specifically about understanding, I think it's also interesting, like we were talking about robotics, and you have plenty of tasks where actually you would rather segment an object doing image generation rather than like use text to describe like exactly where this object is in the image. So I think you can really think about like generation, unlocking like key understanding capabilities of the world that you wouldn't have through text, for example.
Yeah, that is super interesting. I don't know if we have a robotics example, but I'd love to see. I don't know. Abhishek, if you want to, maybe if we go not to a robotics example, but if you want to go to, we can look at our next example.
I don't have a robotics example, but just adding on to things which we improved over Nano Banana, I think one thing which is like, we saw a lot of like user complaints where the model was not good. The Nano Banana was not perfect for multi-turn. So we have tried to improve the model a lot for multi-turn. So in this case, you can see like I just asked another reasoning example, like arrange all the words alphabetically, and it then rearranges everything into alphabetical. So I think the model would feel much better for such multi-turn conversation. It can, you can go up to like 5-10 conversations and you won't hopefully you won't see much issues which people saw before. So that is like one particular example. Then some other examples like this thing I'm really excited about, which is like, so I had a GitHub, I took my GitHub repo. I wanted to understand my previous code, which I wrote using TensorFlow. So, and this is something which I've been using exclusively at Google, which is I paste someone's code. I don't want to really read all the code that is written or ask Gemini to summarize it. I instead just ask my model to say, generate some infographic poster explaining this image. And since our model can support like 2K or 4K resolution, so that's another positive. Let me try generating something at 2K. And yeah, you can see it's a code. It's like we can. I've been able to play with codes which are even like 500 lines of code, and I just feed everything to model. It just simplifies my daily life so much. Oh, I have once. It started explaining. Let me just say to explain, generate an image corresponding to it.
I wonder, does the ordering of the prompt change this? Like, is I don't know if we have, I assume we have best practices somewhere, but like, do prompt first, context first, or what? Is there a preference on ordering?
Just instructify the prompt.
Okay.
Be explicit in saying generate an image.
Yeah.
Abhishek didn't say please, that's why
No, I did not say to generate an image. I just said to generate an infograph and started writing text. Now I've explicitly said like, infographic image.
Got it.
So now it's generating the image.
Actually, a key question also, like how do you organize the information, the answer? Do you send an image back or text? And I think Gemini has been like text first, and there is really like now that we have like really good like text rendering and like detailed generation, we can really think about like how can we use Gemini to actually like generate image where it's actually like when it's best than text.
Yeah, I feel like this is an interesting, and I think the image output is an example of this. The Gen UI stuff, which a bunch of the products with Gemini 3 actually has this as well, which is like, when do you output text? When do you actually write code to make an interface for users? So it feels like as Gemini gets smarter, it's also learning like not just text, like what are the other modalities? When is tool calls as another example. So this looks awesome though.
Yeah. It's like
Can we,
so
please zoom in a bunch? I'm trying to.
Yeah, so it
does it
started.
look right?
Yeah, it looks like.
I haven't looked at TensorFlow code in a long time, so it looks convincing to me.
Yeah, it looks quite convincing. Like it analyzed from my code that I was reading in some MNIST data. First, I train a teacher network. It wrote all the parameters of the teacher network, like what were the conv layer sizes, the different layers which were used. And then once teacher is trained, we train the student network, whose architecture is perfect.
Just to clarify, this is not the architecture for Nano Banana Pro. This is an open source project, so
yeah,
don't get your hopes up.
And yeah, this is the distillation loss. You get teacher outputs, and then you get student distillation loss, normal loss. You have all the hyperparameters and everything described. How many steps you train the teacher for, what optimizer was used, the same for student, and yeah, it's
That's
like
crazy.
perfect.
Like I feel like it's perfect. Like I don't see any. I mean, I think I don't have context to make sure that it is like factually accurate from an architecture standpoint, but the text rendering and overall setup looks awesome. Can we do the original Nano Banana model as a side by side of this too? I'm just curious because I think this is one of the places where there's lots of domains where like single turn editing. I feel like the previous model was actually really good at that and continues to be good, but I feel like this is one of the use cases where it's like clearly night and day difference from a text rendering capability standpoint.
Yeah.
And you can see the whole like flow diagram, like Abhishek actually didn't ask for it, and it came up with this through thinking and like organized in a very like clear way the information.
It's crazy.
And have you noticed that this has poster aspect ratio? So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, so Nano Banana always generates a square image. Our model like is adaptive. It kind of understands that, oh, this seems like a prompt for which I have to generate some a different aspect ratio image. So it's more intelligent in that way also.
Yeah.
I love that. Can we zoom in on this?
Yeah, so this is Nano Banana. I think firstly, like you can see the text, for instance, it's not perfect. It made some mistakes in the text for Nano Banana. Yeah, the text rendering is not perfect, but if you compare against Nano Banana Pro, like we were hardly able to find any mistake in the text.
Yeah. This was better than I remember, though. Honestly, for Nano Banana 1, I like the Pro model, but it is interesting that.
Yeah, I want to say that for text rendering, this is quite a hard test to measure in terms of metrics. So during the last launch phase, we actually have a small team with very proactive engineers, like proactively working on like defining the prompt set with very simple short text prompt, just measure that you can character by character verify the metrics, verify the successful rate, and also whether like short specified text prompt and long prompt, and then prompt with like different language space, and they come up with like autorater, human eval, super rater, and then eventually we also assemble a team within our work stream, people on different languages like French, Chinese, and Japanese, yada yada. So we actually came up with a wide range of rich metrics in order to measure the success of Pro model. So
Yeah,
that's quite impressive.
This was one of the threads that was most surprising, and I think we got lots of feedback from the original model about sort of like IETN non-English languages, and I feel like I saw a bunch of, I forgot what the metrics were specifically, but this model is like now SOTA across a bunch of the other languages that are not English specific, which is actually great because I think the original model was like super popular, all these like country geography specific trends in like Indonesia and other places where like people were trying to do really cool things with the model. So being able to render, I assume rendering text in those languages as well is state of the art.
So we have been we tested other models. We don't have any external benchmarks, but we tested different models as well as Nano Banana on a variety of different languages. And we are almost better in almost all the languages, I would say. And it's this is a behavior which we did not like explicitly added in the model. We did not explicitly add training data for each language. We just targeted a general improvement, and then in the end, like when we evaluated all different languages, it was very surprising for us to see that everything improves, which was like super good too.
And I think to piggyback on what Eileen was saying earlier, it's really a matter of like having a very like wide variety of data and improving the amount of like concepts and like data with a lot of world knowledge we train on compared to Nano Banana.
Yeah, we should have just gone and benchmark max the clock and the wine stuff. No, we didn't do that, which I think folks will feel like as they use the model. And I do think it would be easy to like go and try to hill climb a bunch of the narrow stuff, especially because we got lots of feedback from Nano Banana 1 of what folks wanted. So it's cool that we have made general progress. Do we have more examples?
I have some more. So on the side of text rendering, like we are excited for people to try out like infographics where people can use the model to explain different concepts and in an infographic fashion. Like for instance, let me show me an infographic explaining photosynthesis.
And is this grounded with search as well when you do these infographics?
Yes, we have an option here to ground with search. So for a lot of queries, if you're asking for some real-time queries like show me an infographic about the weather for the next 7 days, it will use search to be grounded with search.
That's awesome. And can we talk as you're typing this prompt, Abhishek, and as it's generating this image, the reasoning piece is new for this model, and maybe the model was doing some reasoning sort of behind the scenes before. But is there any like interesting part about this? Like, is that part of the story of how we're hill climbing quality? And again, is it reasoning in, like, I assume it's not actually like generating an image, it's just like generating like a really similar to how thinking works on the text models. It's just generating text and then it uses the like reasoning text to then make the image.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think that's where again, like the fact that the image model is so good at following the text that's given as input really plays nicely with thinking, because like the thinking trace is really long and still like the model is able to reason based on it and like generate an accurate image.
That's interesting. My intuition would have been that would actually like degrade model quality because you have like way more, like actually again, one of the challenges for Nano Banana originally was like sort of you had to have like more short, terse requests and like not give, as you gave it more context, like it sort of overloaded the model, at least in a bunch of tests that I was doing personally.
The other way around.
Really?
Yeah,
Interesting. Okay. See, my intuition doesn't match the way that the model is trained, which is why.
And also the model also does self-critique. So it generates results and then try to compare, like see the response, compare with the content and see if actually achieved the user intent. If not, the model will redo it and try to improve on itself. So that might also be the reason why for some of the challenging prompts, we can actually see a higher successful rate.
That is interesting. And Robin, just to clarify, it is what you're saying is true for the Pro model and the original Nano Banana model, or just for the Pro model?
it's true in general. Like it's good to basically like give a lot of context and define clearly what you want. And the longer the prompt, the more detailed you can specify what you actually want to generate.
Okay, cool. This looks impressive. Could we?
Yeah,
please
so
submit?
I just asked it to explain photosynthesis in detail. Like, I'm not a biology expert, but it's like talking everything in detail. Like, it talks about all the photosynthesis equations. It talks about all these things in chloroplast, granum, everything. And I think you'll have to really zoom in to find any text mistake. Like, I don't see anything on top of my mind, but I feel it's going to be really useful for people to really understand deeper topics much easily in an informative fashion instead of going through all the texts. We like visualize all this information via an infographic image.
This passes my like 7th grade science vibe test.
Yeah. We can also like
Is this a 1K or 2K generation?
this is like 1K, but
Okay,
I can ask it to
pretty
make this
impressive.
image simpler for
Because we had the same impression with Abhishek. It felt amazing, but we're not biology experts, so it wasn't clear to us like was it actually like accurate or not, and it was a bit too complex.
But we sent it to biology experts, and
Yeah.
it's correct.
we-
Or 7th graders who are looking at this. And
We have biology professors and researchers helping us to grade those responses.
nice. Awesome.
yeah, this is like much simpler.
How well does this work for stuff like obviously like photosynthesis is like very in distribution, I would assume, for like the knowledge of the model. Is it able to sort of grok the nuance of like topics that are like not like I don't know what a good recent example of this would be, but like a net new research paper about like something that's like far afield that like maybe isn't super like well represented in training data?
Yeah, like so I tried like once the Google earnings were out, like I just asked it like show me the latest Google earnings in an infographic fashion. It went through Google search. Since it's Google search grounded, it found all the Google earnings and then generated an infographic. So I think since it's Google search grounded, like you can really test it with very recent things which are for sure out of distribution also, and the model should be able to do it quite well.
That's awesome. I love it. I feel like folks are going to get a lot of value out of this infographic use case. I feel like I'm guessing, I don't know if it's going to be available in Notebook LM, but this feels like a very Notebook LM bring to life experience.
Yeah, it's available in Notebook LM, like, and then the Notebook LM team have integrated like lots of new things. So it's really awesome to play it in Notebook LM also.
Yeah, I feel like audio overviews plus this, plus I'm like, I feel like it's going to be awesome. I want to can you do, is it just text and image inputs, or can I also put in like audio and video and stuff like that as well?
Right now it's only image and text. We hope to support video also, but yeah, currently it's image and text input.
What about like native audio in? Is that possible? Or
not right now.
not right now.
It's great that we launched everything simultaneously. Like Nano Banana Pro simultaneously launched with Notebook LM. There are other few exciting changes which people will see all like simultaneously getting shipped. So it's great to be in Google and see like all of these things all simultaneously being launched. I have right now all the 4 presenters and Logan. So let me just say, show them celebrating.
Tell it to put us in a Google office and see.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
see.
I will put that in a follow-up prompt then.
And so from a user perspective, would I expect like, is there any difference from like a model inference time perspective, like putting in all these images and fusing them? Does that like generally on average like take longer for the model to be able to bring the references into a single image, or is it like basically the similar time to image generation across all of them.
It's a bit longer, right? But like the difference is not that much. I think like mainly the bottleneck is image generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This looks good. Can we zoom in and
Yeah, but I think we can make it did not generate a
Ah,
photorealistic one. We
generate
can generate a
cartoon one.
photorealistic one.
I wish this is what was happening. Where bananas and balloons and yellow champagne.
Shall we try again?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and in terms of latency, I don't think there will be much difference between inputting one image versus inputting multiple images. It should be roughly, the latency should be close to like 30 seconds or something, which is, yeah, a bit higher than Nano Banana, but yeah, quality comes at a price of it.
yeah. I feel like, and so that's one of the, I think the like world knowledge grounding stuff. If you have more references, I'm trying to accumulate my list of like when I should be going to the Pro model versus the original Nano Banana model. Other things, it likes doing us in this comic book. What is the prompt? I can't see it.
It's just show them celebrating in a Nano Banana Pro launch party. Let me just say show a photorealistic
Yes.
image.
And you're not saying please. That's why. I'm also excited about. Is there any like interesting technical detail about like what in my mind I think of like 1K and 2K and 4K as like I don't sort of think deeply about this, and I just imagine there's some magic happening behind the scenes. But like from a model perspective, is this actually like technically difficult if we can make 1K work? Like what's the difference? Is it a model understanding piece that's different between 1K and 4K or something like that, or is it just
Mainly about infra. And actually, if you have like serving cost in mind, of course, like generating 2K or 4K is going to be quite more expensive compared to 1K. So you really want to make sure that if you start generating 2K, it's actually going to be worth it, and the image quality is going to be much better. So in a sense, you could just like upsample a 1K image and say it's 2K, but that's not going to bring something new. Whereas like when you generate 2K, you really want like small text to be perfect.
Yeah.
And that's the kind of thing we think about when we propose like higher resolution, for example.
Yeah.
And also, I think in addition, like to train, like for example, 2K or 4K model, there's also requirement on the training data's resolution.
Got it.
Like it has to be higher
Yeah.
accordingly. Yeah.
We need 8K now. Now that can we zoom in on this? This looks very good.
Yeah, I think it like almost perfectly captured all of our faces. Like
I'm looking at the hands. I thought. Abhishek, I thought our hands, we were holding the same.
yeah, I also actually
Pain,
thought,
but we're not.
zooming
We're
in-
not. We have separate hands and we
Yeah.
have our own
That's two
glasses.
glasses.
Pain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the character consistency is a big thing for.
Oh, there's also a label.
Oh,
yeah.
where?
Nano
Maybe-
Banana
Another,
label.
yeah, the text rendering in natural image setting is
Yeah.
also great.
What are these little things that are sitting on the table?
I'm not sure.
I think the model figured that we were launching some new product, which looks a banana-looking thing.
Electronic.
Banana razor.
Electronic gadgets.
Yeah.
I love it. That's awesome.
Abhishek, do you want to talk about like how we were fighting to make sure that character consistency is also good in the Pro model, because it was so good in Nano Banana?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a high bar.
Yeah, it was a very high bar for us, and I think this took us the maximal amount of time to hill climb on, because when we trained the model, we were super happy with almost all other capabilities, but consistency was something which we found that people really loved about Nano Banana. We were initially like struggling to come to parity with Nano Banana, but now if you play, like you'll find it's even better than Nano Banana for consistency. But it took a great deal of time, both from data, curating better evals and changing our training strategies a bit. But it did take us quite a bit to hill climb on this character consistency. But we are now really excited for it should work much better, and it should support multiple people input, and yeah, it's a new capability. I think I love playing with. I love imagining myself in times 30 and the 30 poster.
Hey, if Nano Banana Pro goes well, who knows? Who knows? Maybe they'll make it happen. So character consistency taking a major leap, the sort of like real world knowledge taking a major leap. Sort of some of these vibe tests start to work. The
text rendering, infographics.
text rendering. Any other things top of mind from a model capability standpoint?
I would say these are the main things. We definitely improved also on style transfer compared to Nano Banana.
I think because of this word knowledge and better grounding, we're better at a bunch of editing capabilities like chart editing. Imagine you have a very complicated graph with a pie chart, a different format of the layout.
I want this because I'm incapable of making slides. My
Yeah.
slides are horrible, but then I see beautiful visual slides and I'm always jealous.
You can
so-
just talk to the model to improve the style, the arrangement of the text and the bar chart. Yeah, so and
That's awesome.
bar chart into pie chart and some other things. It can also do some math computations directly from the numbers in your image.
Yeah.
And then make a process the result into the edited images. So I see example like you presented with a confusion matrix. That's a common thing in statistics. And then you ask the model, okay, tell me the percentage in each entry of the confusion matrix.
Yeah.
And that's pretty accurate.
Can it do, maybe this is a too on the nose question, can it do transparent backgrounds?
Not right now.
Darn it. I got a ton of feature requests. Everyone was like, when is transparent backgrounds? What's the what stops the model from being able to do? I don't have a good understanding of how transparent backgrounds actually work from a technical perspective, but is it possible to like?
It's possible, but it's a matter of like getting the right data, because you don't have much data out there that has like the transparency channels. And it's also like you need to actually like change a bit the way you train your model while making sure you're not going to regress on like all of the tasks you're currently good at. So it's a bit tricky to get right. We're definitely going to get there, but like not for this actual version.
Okay, people want it, so we need it. We need it. I feel like getting transparent background images is the most painful thing anytime you're trying to do something. So if we can nail that and land it, I feel like folks will love it.
But in general, like I think even though like these are the new capabilities which we're talking about, but even in simple like text to image and editing, the model should feel much superior. Like because that's the main metric we climbed on. These all capabilities kind of emerged, but simple text to image queries, simple image editing, the model should feel much better than what it was before. Like this, we can even try some examples of like I was trying to play with it. Like let me just simply show me a funny pie chart around some random topic, and then we can ask it to even edit the image from pie chart to 3D bar plot or something.
Yeah, and I think it really relates to this capability of like the model is really good at multi-turn generation.
Yeah. I feel like multi-turn generation I'm just remembering back to the original, I forgot what we even called the Gemini 2 Flash image model. And you'd sort of like, actually in some contexts, and that model was great and we were the first ones to ship that sort of like native image generation editing capability, but you'd like visibly be able to see some of the regression over time. And I feel like now it's sort of like crossed the uncanny valley of like, you can just like continue to do the editing and generation. It doesn't, it like seemingly gets better over time, which is really cool.
Like for instance, for this image, like you can see like this is a normal text to image query, but you can see that all the labels are like perfectly accurate, like 40%, 30%, all these like percentage labels on a pie chart are pretty accurately depicted here. And
they
came
actually add up to be 100%.
I gotta measure. We gotta get that. We gotta get the true 100% overlay. We should run like code execution and use like a visualization. I'm curious how close the actual gap is. But my vibe check is I feel like it looks right. So
That's awesome. Looks quite good, no?
Yeah. Looks quite good. And now let me say, and it did some reasoning to like make it funny.
Scrolling through memes I've already seen. True. Mapping with responsibility. Staring into the fridge and hoping for a miracle is a real one. I open up my fridge all the time, like maybe there's something I really want in here, and every time I'm disappointed. Or these MKs in the office.
I also remember it's just in general, I think there was a use case, like on our team, a lot of us that were in US and some of our team and the rest of them, they're like in Europe, like for example in London. And every year when the daylight saving time changes, it's mismatching in two countries. So there's a week when our meetings gets misaligned. So on that week, our helpful TPM send out a message to remind everybody there's a change in the meeting time, and someone else on our team used that just chat message and send that into a Nano Banana Pro, and it made a very, very cute, like a reminder poster, like with all the information, and like even has London bridges and stuff. And so it's really nice. Like it's just nice to see high visual quality, and like for just our daily tasks. Now now we don't have to send chat messages. We can just generate a good-looking, cute image for that, and to communicate what we want to tell others.
Yeah, there's something about images too that like it's just so easy to like grok
Yeah.
information, and I feel like we're so text-based and working and all this other stuff that like you just sort of resonate so deeply with image, which I think is why this is so powerful. And also just like letting anyone, the pro models leveling everyone up, and I feel like Nano Banana did this where like anyone can go and edit images and start to generate. And I feel like now now this model taking that even further, I think is a cool capability. This was a ton of fun. I'm super excited for folks to get their hands on this model. I feel like across the Gemini app, Notebook LM, AI Studio, the APIs, and I'm sure a bunch of other products, folks will be able to experience this model. So thank you all for the hard work. Thanks for sitting down and chatting about this stuff, and excited for Gemini, Nano Banana Pro 2 or whatever we call it in the future. I want a Giga Banana, but that did not happen. So Nano Banana Pro. Again, thank you all. This was a ton of fun. Thanks for watching Release Notes. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next episode.